Okay, super quick little MIDI refresher. Um, just because this question comes up more than anything else in the world when I'm teaching Ableton. So, we have a MIDI clip. MIDI is just instructions. That's all it is. So this MIDI clip says play the note A2 for this long and at this volume. Okay? That's all MIDI says. It doesn't say what sound to play, what the timbre of that sound is. I'll talk more about that word in a minute. Um, what the filter settings are, how many oscillators to use. I'll talk more about that in a minute too. It doesn't say anything about what it actually sounds like. It only says what note to play, how long, and how loud. So that's what's in our MIDI clip. So if I have a MIDI clip and I tell it to play a MIDI clip, Live is going to play nothing. It's not going to make any sound. It's going to play the MIDI clip, but it's just going to say play this note, play that note, play that note. We have to assign it an instrument, a synthesizer, something that makes sound in order for it to make any sound with that clip, right? Because the MIDI clip, is just instructions telling the synthesizer what notes to play. Okay, so let me just demonstrate that really quick. Let me make a new MIDI track. There's a new MIDI track. I'm going to copy this MIDI clip. So I press Command C. I'm going to put it right here, Command V to paste it in. Now I have a MIDI clip on this track. Let's solo this so we only hear this track. Let's put our cursor right there and let's press play. We hear nothing, right? Because there is no instrument here. If I look down here, I see my MIDI clip. If I go over to this tab right here, I would see my instrument. And we can see it says drop an instrument here or a sample here. These are my instruments. So if I take an instrument and I drag an instrument right there, now we will hear it. There it is. Cool. So we heard the sound. So the most important thing to remember about working with synthesizers is that if you have a clip, a MIDI clip makes no sound on its own. You have to assign it an instrument to make sound with. Now, what we're going to be doing going forward is really diving into what all of these dials mean for all of our instruments. So we can really kind of get in the weeds and program this sound to sound exactly how we want and do some good sound design. But before we do that, let's talk real quick about our MIDI clip and what goes into this window and some quick editing tricks that we can do to kind of speed up our workflow.